Good morning. Midlife Goddess here. It's early. I don't know how goddess I am yet. I just woke up and I'm having my tested iced coffee. Oh my gosh. Iced coffee. Gotta say, one of the best things ever. Anyway, I want to talk about cougars and cubs. Am I a cougar? I guess according to society's definition, yes, I have been. I have dated guys who are younger than me, from 2 years younger, starting out, which was a big deal in your 20s, to up to 14 years younger than me. I guess technically I slightly dated someone younger than that, but not for very long, and I found that it was too much younger. Probably just because of the amount of life experience he had versus what I had. But I think when you say cougar and cub, you're just thinking like this weird sexual relationship between a woman who's on the prowl and a guy who's young and horny, right? And for me, that's not how it's gone down. And that's not even how it's been. Number one, I don't think I ever even really wanted to date guys who are younger than me. That's just what happened. And I think that's what happens to a lot of women. Women really probably prefer to date guys their own age who are as youthful and inquisitive and exciting and spontaneous as they are, wherever they are. Some women are just old for their age and they're really good with older men because that's a good match. And then some women are kind of young for their age, and I probably fall into the category of being a little immature. And I think especially when you don't have kids and you have the luxury of learning all about yourself and doing whatever you want all the time, in a way you are immature because you didn't really have to take care of someone besides yourself. And I guess that could be people have to take care of a parent besides themselves, or anything like that could really cause you to become older than your age, right? And if your life has been pretty straightforward overall, it can lead you to learning about yourself a lot and being self-indulgent to a sense. And because of that, maybe you don't have that mom vibe. You instead maybe attract more guys who are younger, just automatically. I've never gone to places where younger guys go, God no. Oof, who'd want to? And I've never done anything to go out of my way to meet younger men. Never. So if you're looking for advice on where to meet younger men, I can't give you that because I don't really believe that going out looking for younger men is even a good idea. I think it's best to focus on self-improvement and be the best you can be physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and go to the places that you really enjoy, and then somebody who also enjoys those things will be there in those same places. But as far as cougar and cub relationships, still cringe. There are no other words I can use though. What word? Does anyone have like a great word, great way of saying older woman, younger guy? I don't know. But I'll tell you this. It's become more and more common. And the reason why is because men used to support women financially and women stayed home, and therefore women didn't really go out and meet people. They were busy taking care of the home. Once women started working and doing all the things that men do, well, they met a lot more people. And they also were kind of getting less, I would say, at home from their relationship, and it became more of a equal parts financial relationship. So with that, the rise of women expecting men to look better came out of that. You know, I mean, you remember when, even if you look at old movies, it's always the woman is young and beautiful and she's demure and she talks like that and she's flirtatious and she definitely doesn't give her own opinion about anything. And then we're past that now, right? We have our own opinions. We're going to say them. We feel confident in saying them, and we make our own money. We pay our own bills. So now men have to look cute. Men have to be charming. Men have to be good in bed. All that stuff that they really didn't have to think about before. Before they could just think about having a job that was good enough to support a woman. There are still guys who are going with that business model, let's call it, but they're usually with a woman from a very poor country who desperately needs their money, and she's just happy to have a roof over her head, as they say. And you know, and so in her Maslow's hierarchy of needs, she needs that security more than she needs anything else. So that'll do for her. That'll do for love. But all the women, which is, I mean, most now in the Western world, aren't in that, between that rock and hard place of poverty. If they have a job and they have their own car, their own apartment, blah, 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 they don't need a guy to take care of them. They're looking for happiness. They're looking for someone who makes them happy. And they're not wanting to be someone's servant anymore, you know? They don't want to go to work and be someone's servant. It's kind of if you are someone's servant, that's your job. And if you are working, you're not going to have two jobs. You're not going to have a man who's a second job. Enter happiness. Happiness, for most women, is found with a guy who makes her feel energized, who gives her new thoughts, new information, who is happy to do things that are spontaneous. And that tends to happen a lot easier with a younger guy. I'm just saying. Would I like to be with a guy who's my exact age, who knows all the songs I know and has done all the things I've done, who is not competitive with me about them, who didn't want to tell me that what he did was, that I should be impressed by what he did when I've probably done it way more and better? Yeah, you know? Younger guys aren't competitive when they're dating a woman who's older than them. It's just understood that she's probably got more life experience than they do. So there's not that weird butting heads thing. It's just fun and easy. And that's why that is happening more and more and more and more. The number of women I know who are dating younger guys now it's like at least 50% of my friends have or would date younger men. And it used to be almost none. It used to be just me. So things are changing really quickly with that. And I think it's a good thing, because the percentage of people who are in happy relationships with younger guys is pretty high. I'm not saying it always works. I mean, obviously, there are different types of younger guys, and the ideal ones tend to be the guy who is more mature, a little bit more of an older soul, but still fun and still interesting, still learning, and doesn't need a little blue pill. That's another thing, because women's sexuality, when a woman is, you know, I mean, even in her 20s, she can be highly sexual, but her body is not responding the way it will in her 30s, never mind her 40s or 50s. Her body does not respond the same way yet. And so when you combine the body knowing what to do more and the psychological confidence that happens when a woman has just more of a comfort in her own skin, and she knows what she wants, she knows who she is, and she's not timid, shy, insecure, any of that stuff. That works very well with a younger guy. When a woman who's at that time of her life tries to date a guy who's her own age, especially if she's used to dating younger guys, and he is like, oh, I have to go take a pill, it just doesn't feel natural in the same way. And now, my mother, gosh, I did not need to know this information. I don't know if any of you have mothers that like to tell you things about their sex life with your father that you just could have lived without knowing. But she was telling me that well into their late 70s, he never had any problems in that area. So I'm wondering, why do these guys who are friends of mine, who are in their late 30s, early 40s, early 50s, a high percentage of them, at least half, seem to have some sort of erectile dysfunction? Why? When old guys never did. Why is it? What's going on? So anyway, it is kind of a bummer when you're used to dating someone who is younger. And I'm not saying you're dating someone younger for sex, because nothing is ever really just for sex, is it? We could say that, but it isn't. And I mean, unless you're just sleeping with people you don't even know. And I really don't think that's a good idea. I think that diminishes your own self-worth, and it confuses you, and you're accepting someone's energy and even DNA into your body who you don't even know or care about. I think it's a terrible idea. I don't think you should ever be intimate with someone unless you really do care about them and want to exchange energy with them. Like, you respect them that much that you feel like, if I become a little more like you, I'm happy to. Right? That's a good rule for everyone. But when you're with someone who's younger and you're exchanging that energy and it just happens naturally, it's great. When you meet someone who's older and they can't just spontaneously have sex, it's kind of like something seems off or missing about it. And it definitely makes the relationship feel weird. It's like, I feel like right now, if I try to date someone who's my own age, so far, I've only tried a limited amount of time. So I don't know. I can't speak for the world, can't speak for the world. And if you have any insight in this, please let me know. But the ones that I've known, I hear the stories about them needing to take the pill. And then when I saw that happen in my own world, which I didn't know right away, but then later on I was told, oh yeah, I have to do this. I was like, it just felt so unnatural to me. Like, what's wrong that this doesn't just naturally happen? Why would that just not naturally happen? And is that because I'm used to being with younger guys, or is it because there's something wrong with guys who are older? Or maybe once you're with younger guys, it's hard to ever go back? I don't know. Maybe guys who date younger women feel that way too, but this isn't really a show about them. This is a show about women dating younger men, and why I think that it's in many ways better. And if you haven't tried it, I would really say that you might want to. You might want to try it out. And also, women's attraction for people sort of changes throughout their age. There are some guys that have only ever liked older women, and I don't know if that's just something that got set in when they were young and it's just there. But try not to be ageist. As far as when a guy hits on you and he's younger, consider, if you find him attractive, obviously, giving him a chance. And I'm not saying date a 20-year-old. Gosh, I'm not saying that. And I'm not saying date a 25-year-old. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that when a guy's 5 years younger than you, it's not even really a thing to think about. When he's 10 years younger, that could be the perfect amount right there, in my opinion. A little bit younger than that could work very well too. And as you get older, it seems like that gap matters less and less. Because once people are adults, then there's a lot more flexibility. When you're dating people who are children, teenagers, early 20s, gross. Just saying. Unless you're really young too. You know, if you're a 30-year-old dating a guy who's 25, 23, no big deal. But anyway, it's all relative, isn't it? I guess it's hard to put a number on. Each person is different, but we all know who's like a child and who isn't like a child, right? We all know. It's like porn. You know it when you see it. You know a child when you see a child. So don't date children, but do keep an open mind about dating someone who's younger than you, because you could be just the happiest you've ever been with them. And even if it's not marriage, even if it's just 5 years of happiness, it's better to be really happy for 5 years than to be with somebody who's a drag, who's age appropriate, but a drag. Trust me. Better to be alone than to be with a drag. All right. Thank you for watching. Please give me your opinions. Please like or dislike. Subscribe. And most of all, I'd like to hear your opinions. Biggest age gap dating that you've ever done. And how did it go? Thanks for watching. Bye.